Plus, this album has a lot of bangers, and I think that people
This
were...
album has a lot of bangers, you guys.
It does.
Please listen to me talk.
Hey, howdy, hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Mike's Monday Jams, the official podcast for music appreciators everywhere. Today we're going to be talking about the song The Big Money by the band Rush. Let's get it.
Big money on the streets, big money on the rise, big money we will mighty well, big money, draw the prize.
Last one for August, Monday, August 26, 2024, cruising through Season 2, EC and MC on the track. Lots of new releases in the past week.
Big week.
In particular, one that you're very excited about from Miss Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, Girly Pop Hour. Miss Sabrina Carpenter's album came out, and y'all, you prepare yourself before you listen to it.
It's
It is
not
very inappropriate.
NSFW.
Would not listen to this at the office, but it is really good and I really like it. It's very Ariana Grande to the point that I'm thinking, like, is Ari mad? But y'all know I love Ari, so I'm fine with it. It's good with me.
It I feel as if it's more instrumental Ari.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on. Apparently, Miss Jen told me, as a Nashville insider, that
Our Nashville correspondent.
Our Nashville correspondent, Jennifer Bowman, told me that, Jack Antonoff, I think, produced the album, but he did also produce Sweetener. Boy produced everything. I don't know how he has time for anything, but also apparently one of the other producers on it is a country producer, and that's why it's almost a little bit twangy.
So Sabrina, or Ari can't get too mad at Sabrina if they're employing the same, in-house staff.
I think so, but I mean, some of them, it is very,
Produced.
very Ari. The singing is Ari.
Yes, it's
The
very much in that
content
style.
of the album is very Ari.
Indeed.
But it has her own vibe to it as well. But I'm just like, was Ari aware before the album came out?
Yeah, produced by Jack Antonoff, John Ryan, Ian Kirkpatrick, and Julian Bonetta. So I'm not sure who those other fellows are, but of course we've done an episode on Mr. Antonoff.
Mm-hmm.
And under like the studio, it's got like 10 different studios on it. Like, girl, make up your mind. Like, why couldn't you just record it all in one place?
France?
We have France, the Bahamas, Portland. L.A., Nashville. She was all over the place with this one. And this one must have been like, in 2022, released her fifth album. Fifth album? I didn't know she had that many.
I think it might be because she was a Disney artist. I wonder if that counts. She was a Disney Channel girl, but she was a Disney Channel girl far beyond us watching the Disney Channel.
Fair enough. The only reason why 10 studios or however many that is, that must mean it took a while to record. Booked a lot of time in different places.
Yeah.
Anywho, so yes, Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter.
And she talks about being 5 feet tall in it, so, I love that.
That's you, yeah. It says the album explores Carpenter's love life. Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, I would say so.
Jeez. And perspectives on modern dating. Yeah, I'll say. Jeez. Couple samples and made me listen to it. I was like, my Lord. Children have access to Spotify.
Just be prepared. It's
Miss
not
Carpenter.
for kids.
It is very much NSFW.
I do wonder what her parents might think about it.
I do wonder that all the time about different artists when they release something especially the
Super
grandparents
raunchy,
too.
yeah.
It's like, oh hey,
Because
me
you'd
mom.
want them to be proud of you, but it's also like, good gracious.
Hey me mom, I released my album today. You should listen to it.
Meemaw dies.
From hearing it, oh my god.
Has a heart attack and passes away.
Yeah, so that's Sabrina. TR Thomas Rhett's About a Woman. Was it his 7th or 8th album, I think? There's some good ones on it we've discovered we listened to the other day.
They weren't the singles.
No, as predicted, we called that one. So there were some good ones. I don't know if there was any like showstoppers,
Yeah.
but there were good ones. Like ones I would listen to for a bit and then
Yeah.
put on the current jams, and then when they, kind of
They'll fizzle out.
when they the tread has worn down on the tires, change them out. And Blink-182 announced a little part 2 to their One More Time release from last year. So it's almost like a deluxe thing that's got like, I think 7 or 8 extra songs that's coming out in a couple weeks.
All right.
So, okay, I dedicate a whole 5 minutes
just
to
kidding.
Sabrina, and I'm
just
like
kidding.
briefly mention a deluxe
I'm
release
just
from Blink,
kidding.
and you're like, oh.
Did you know that Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian live in different houses?
I didn't know that, but I don't find that hard to believe. I'm surprised Travis Barker doesn't live like on his own island that just is.
Well, like,
Away
why are
from
you married
everybody.
if you're going to live in 2 different houses?
That's the question you have for Travis Barker?
Why do you marry when they get married?
I was about to say, that's the first question you have for Travis Barker? There wasn't like, I don't know.
There's a lot of questions, but
20
that's
other
one
questions
of
that
them.
popped
Why
up?
did you marry Kourtney Kardashian and you live in different house? You're not married.
Well,
You are married in law alone.
according to the law, young lady, they are.
Well, it's very strange in my opinion. But I mean, I've heard of people being sleep divorced.
Yeah, well, they like sleep in separate rooms
Yeah,
or
because
different
like
beds.
because somebody's too annoying in the night and you just can't sleep together, and
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Not saying that's either of us, as far as I know.
No, it is not, but for others, yes.
Yes, but living in different homes, you're not even roommates at that
They
point.
should just get a casita.
I think the casita is a butler's pantry.
Well, somebody can live in it. Just give him a little drum set. Put Travis Barker in the casita.
I think he needs his whole own house.
Give him a little mixing board and a drum set.
I think that more than it being like we like need like more than it being like we need more space, it's like they like don't want to be together. But like they act like they're not like, more pop culture, but J-Lo and Ben Affleck.
Ben
They
Affleck,
are officially getting divorced.
which is tough. They just did that Dun Kings commercial for the Super Bowl.
There's been this whole their divorce filing says they've officially been separated since April. People hate her right now.
Yeah, I knew that.
Rightfully so. She's annoying as hell.
She is.
And then who's become, but she is happy right now because who's becoming the new hated woman of Hollywood? Miss Blake Lively.
Oh,
You heard about that?
No.
Sorry, I don't want to make our podcast pop culture podcast, but I'm just going on a tangent here. But yeah, everybody's mad at Blake Lively right now. And as a Blake Lively fan,
She watches Gossip Girl once, and she's like, well,
well, I mean,
Blake
I've seen her in
Lively.
other things. She's an A-list
I know.
celebrity. But
A-list? Really? You think?
Blake Lively,
Yeah, you think A?
yes. She's married to Ryan Reynolds.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
They are an A-list celebrity couple, 100%.
Like Brangelina.
Yes, another celebrity couple that did not last. But I'm not saying Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. They seem to be quite fine. I think she's
you know
pregnant.
who is lasting? Nicole and Keith.
Nicole and Keith. I also didn't realize, y'all, this is gonna be this is gonna make me seem really stupid that I didn't know this until the other day. But I didn't know that Matthew Broderick and Sarah Jessica Parker were married, and they've been married for like 30 years.
It's okay. I don't think I knew that either, but it's not really that big of a deal to me. So.
I didn't know that, but now I know that. That's a classic
Yeah,
celebrity couple.
a little more dated.
But yes, J-Lo, they're officially getting divorced. She's been acting like a little victim for months, but she just wanted the attention. She wouldn't actually say she was getting divorced, so that was super annoying.
And he's been acting like a Dun King, baby.
I mean, I don't like him either, but
Yeah, but at least he's funny.
yeah, when he's with Matt Damon. If he's not, though, get me away. I'm
Yeah.
fine. I don't need the flicks.
And people who have that weird obsession with Gone Girl,
People do have
love
an
Gone
obsession
Girl.
with Gone
And people
Girl.
are like, oh, like if you say your favorite movie's Gone Girl, I'm like, what? Why? Well, what's going on?
It's pretty telling. That's one of those telling things.
Yeah. I've encountered it in the wild a couple times. People are like, oh, yeah, I love Gone Girl. It's like, well, okay, sure.
And if you don't love it, then there's something wrong with you.
Right.
But yeah, no. That was my celebrity tangent.
is what it
Wait, I
is.
have one more thing to say. Back to Miss Sabrina. Do you know who her celebrity boyfriend is that this album is about?
Didn't they're allegedly broken up or something? Or, dude, I don't know. I couldn't care less, to be honest with you.
Well, the man that she is currently with, that the Please, Please, Please song is about, is Barry Kogan, that guy that's in Saltburn. He is ugly as all get out.
Well,
And if all this going on in this album is with him, I don't know what's going on. He is hideous. But the song that is my favorite, that seems to be everybody else's favorite too, Taste, the first one, that one, this is my last bit of tea, you guys. That one is about, before Barry Kogan, that one is about Shawn Mendes, because him and Camila Cabello were broken up. Although, I definitely thought he was kissing men in the interim, as did everyone else. Because, you seen those clips of him?
No, I haven't, but that's okay.
Oh, I'll insert one. You'll be like, not Sean.
It's giving Cher.
Apparently, he was having relations with Sabrina Carpenter, and so the song is like her singing to Camila Cabello. So, as she's also Camila Cabello's annoying as all get out, so I'm all fine with people being rude to her. So, there's your celebrity gossip of the week.
Thanks
Girly
for your
Pop
take.
Hour.
Thanks for your take. I thought we might talk about F1 Trillion today, maybe, but alas, maybe next week. Maybe next week. I need more time with it.
Yes, we're spending a lot of time with it, though. It's very good.
I had a dream about you last night. Was I listening to F1 Trillion?
Nah.
No, then it wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
But when you're hearing this, I start my MBA coursework today, so the big money made sense. It was very fitting. Big business, bow body, shareholder value,
Crushing
assets,
spreadsheets.
liquidation, Excel,
Yeah.
PowerPoint,
Yeah.
consulting, marketing. I basically have it already. This is just a formality. So.
Yeah. You gotta get locked in, crush some spreadsheets, make Excel your bitch, all of these things. Listen to Davis Clark and Tony P, my two faves.
3 hours of sleep, no caffeine necessary because I want to work and make things happen today. Big day on deck.
Gotta love them both.
And
Yeah.
Tony Finau, another Tony.
Tony
Throw
Finau,
him
if
in
you
the mix.
want. I don't,
Throw him in the mix.
I think his wife might actually do all their business stuff.
Well, he needs to win more. I don't think she's very busy with her business side of things.
I think they're doing just fine.
I'm just
I mean, they're a
saying,
Mormon
he
family.
could win some more.
That's true.
Birthday shout-outs to Mr. Rick Fuller and
Happy birthday, IE.
Miss Allie Coons. Thank you for listening to the show. College football is back. That's exciting. Under a really bad start, a rough start, not bad start, interesting start. But we'll adapt. Week 0 is always week 0. So whatever. That's all I have to say about that. Today's artist, my favorite band of all time, Canadian A. We had a Red Barchetta episode, so I'm not going to dive too much into the band at this point.
I
But
forgot doing Red Barchetta.
some key elements from what you need to remember. They have 20 studio albums, a lot of work, and they're some of the most talented musicians to ever walk the earth. Just the 3 of them, and they are quite a interesting and fascinating band to read about, follow, be interested in, all of that good stuff. So if you haven't ever listened to some Rish, maybe you should. Not typically for a female audience.
I wouldn't say.
very much dorky dude kind of energy, but
Paul Rudd likes them.
Paul Rudd likes them, so
And
they're
I like Paul Rudd.
they're an accredited source. Alas, today's album, Power Windows, that the Big Money is on, it came out in 85. And I know we always talk about 84 being the year because, you know, for various multitude of reasons. 85 can hang in the ring for a couple rounds against 84. I mean, this album's competing against songs from The Big Chair.
But
in the
didn't
year
it come out in
85.
84?
What?
I thought it came out in 84.
No, it came out in 85.
Oh.
Little Creatures,
Maybe the singles came out in 84, and that's why I think that.
perhaps. No Jacket Required, Phil Collins. Brothers in Arms, Dire Straits, Around the World in a Day, Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince.
Was he known as Prince then, or was he formerly known? He didn't become that until the 90s,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think so. Scarecrow, Mellencamp. I mean, there were some pretty fire releases in 85, bro.
Yeah, but not Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so.
No, but there was still 85 was a force to be reckoned with that we must not forget. But this album, Power Windows, it represents a continuation of getting more 80s sounding like for Rush. If you compared the like heat of their 70s stuff to like the heat of the 80s stuff, it's kind of like two different bands, and people gave them a lot of crap for it at the time. And because it had a lot more like keys, synthesizers, electric drums, like sampling, that sort of stuff.
I mean, this was the first time I've ever heard, you know, Rush synthesizer. It's not like it plays in my dreams or anything.
Doesn't go neener, 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 neener.
Just
neener.
constant Rush surrounding me, similar to The Dead.
Yes. You're welcome. So, but people were very critical of this album when it first came out because, again, if you listen to 70s Rush and 80s Rush together, they're pretty different. And I never understand the hate for the 80s Rush. Like, you know, I guess it's a similar argument to 70s and 80s Joel.
I was just about to say.
Hey, listen, mother. We only sing 80s Joel. So take your skate cooker wife and get the out of here.
I don't, because if they were to go back into the studio and make, you know, all those 70s albums just over and over and over and over again, like, you wouldn't like them as much as you do.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why you have an affinity for it is because it's limited. Like, the finite amount puts things into perspective. If you have an unlimited supply, you know, law of diminishing returns, you're not going to like the thing as much.
Yeah.
Or law of diminishing utility, I think. Anyway.
I don't know any of those laws, so it's fine.
You know, it's like how you, like, when you consume something for the first time, especially like a movie, like, your level of utility drops as...
Oh, I understand the concept of what you
okay.
said. You know, you could rename it something else, whatever you wanted to name it. I wouldn't say that I knew what it was.
Okay, the Gertrude Feinstein...
Old Jewish lady?
Yes,
All right.
that law.
You're going to name it after an old, fictional old Jewish lady.
Correct. So, I've never understand the hate because, again, like, you can't just go back into the studio
No.
and repeat everything. And that goes for any artist. Like, people who switch it up, like, you know, everybody's so hyper-fixated on eras right now, thanks to a particular artist.
Yes.
But, like, that's part of the growth. That's part of the curve. That's part of the trajectory. And so I never understand people who claim to be, like, really big fans of a particular group or band or artist. And
I will say, because of the artists that we're speaking of that we are not huge fans of, Mike is a full-on hater of, I do think people appreciate things like that now more than they ever did before.
agreed.
Like, people are less hateful of having different eras.
Agreed. Plus, this album has a lot of bangers, and I think that people
This
were...
album has a lot of bangers, you guys.
It does.
Please
And-
listen to me talk. You sounded really funny when you said
People are critical of it because, like, oh, the guitars aren't as heavy and Geddy spends too much time on the keyboard. Bro, some of the, like, freshest Geddy Lee bass lines of their career are in this album,
Ooh.
in my opinion. Like, some of this crap's really hard to play, too. Like, if you're a bassist, try playing the Big Money. try playing Marathon. Like, this stuff is not easy by any means. It's just a little bit more hidden in the mix because he stopped using those, like, aggressively warm tube amps that brought the bass to the forefront. But, like, I don't know. I've just always been like, it's not worth hating. It's just a different vibe. It's good. And it's got that, like, you know, kid in the 80s feel. We just watched a music video earlier, like, the silly outfits and
Very silly.
the
Mullets.
bright colors and crappy graphics that look goofy. Like, it has a charm to it. So, I don't know. That's just me. But I've never understood why this album got so much heat specifically. I got a copy of this one when I was in high school in, I think, around Biloxi, Mississippi. There was a record store we went to down there. I got a copy of Power Windows. And it was still in the shrink, I remember. But so sometimes I don't particularly like albums that are still in the shrink, like old ones. And this is why. Because sometimes, like, companies will make the shrink so tight on the actual jacket that it warps the record because somebody has left it in the shrink for so long.
Well, okay, I have a question for you. Do you
Yes.
think you are maybe being duped?
What do you mean?
You could shrink wrap something. What if it's not original?
I don't think
And
somebody
then that would warp
really.
it if someone put it in a shrink wrap and they shrink wrapped around it themselves. That would
I think
totally
it still
warp
had the hype sticker. So the hype sticker is
Okay.
usually the indicator. But usually if I get an old album that's still got the shrink on it, I'm taking the shrink off usually. A hot take. But because, again, if it's tight, like, it's going to, in a mixture, like, we got it in, you know, Gulf side Mississippi, a warm climate. Like, if you have tight shrink and, like, a warm environment, like, it created, like, essentially like a bow in the record.
Oh.
And so I tried to flatten it for years. I still have the copy, but it's very, like, very wobbly. And it sounds like mostly fine, but you kind of hear the wobbles.
There are a couple things in our collection that, like, I feel like are, like, collector's items type things, but, like, that's not what our collection is for. Like, to have
It's
things
for
that you're
use.
not going to touch. You take very good care of them.
Yes, it's for use.
But they are listened to. They are used.
Yeah. Things are meant to be enjoyed. That's why you buy them.
Yes.
No, I mean, everything behind us has been on the table at least once, if not many times. So
Several many.
No, and so that to me is sometimes frustrating because it's like, ugh. But I've always kept the copy because the jacket itself is in really good condition because it's been in the shrink so long, right? Like, it doesn't have, like, really any scuffs or any sort of peeling in the paper or anything, but it ruined the record, unfortunately. So next
Being
time
in the shrink sounds like a turn of phrase or something.
yeah, man, you're really in the shrink.
Yeah. Or maybe, like, it could be like someone that's, like, really innocent and, like, doesn't very sheltered.
Perhaps.
Like, they've been in the shrink for a while.
Perhaps. Real shrinker out there.
Oh gosh, not the shrink. That is a different.
Yes,
That
but
is different.
next time I come across a good copy of Power Windows, I'll keep y'all updated.
Okay.
And maybe I'll just switch out because the jacket's really nice. I'll just switch out if I come across one that's got a crappy jacket but has a really nice album itself. But that one's always tough to tell sometimes, especially when you're digging for stuff in, like, random stores or, you know, antique spots, or especially, you know, with the used ones. You know, it's you want to, like, pull it out and look at it, but, like, sometimes it's hard to tell with the warp, like, how bad it is, especially like with 70s and 80s stuff because they didn't use as much. The vinyl pellets to make the puck, it was, like, lighter than the ones that they use today. Like, the heavyweights of today are the heavyweights so that they could withstand a little bit more, and they're not as flimsy. And they're least likely to warble for that reason. But, like, if you ever pick up something from, you know, 70s, 80s original, it's likely going to be pretty light and pretty thin because they just used less back then.
They probably weren't thinking, like, oh, people 40 years from now are really going to want to.
Really want to
Still
go back
have
to this.
this.
Yeah. So it's always been interesting to see that trend. You know, like, back when I first started collecting, it really wasn't that popular. It's like,
You're so cool.
And you could get really good copies of things for pretty decent pretty cheap. But now it's like you want something that's like pristine and original. Whew, you're gonna end up in a bidding war with somebody's Meemaw on eBay. So just a different world. But a little side note about vinyl, and especially for this album, just thinking about it. New producer for this album, the band enlisted Peter Collins. No relation. They called him Mr. Big because he gave the sound a little bit more of a commercial edge. And even if you look at the music video for this song, The Big Money, the little like 3D animated 80s car that comes through, futuristic looking, the back of the license plate says Mr. Big on it, which is a nice little detail. Peter Collins has produced a lot for a lot of people over the years, including Drake Bell.
What?
Peter Collins has produced something by Drake Bell. I didn't care to go look at what it was. But
What if it was Makes Me Happy? That song slaps.
You're everything I need, handed from above. I just can't get enough of your love. It makes me happy.
That song is really good.
Could have been.
I would say that's his only solo song I'm aware of besides the theme for Drake and Josh.
So it could have been Makes Me Happy. So everything else in that list of like people he's produced for, like it was similar. Like it checked out. I wasn't that interested, but then I saw Drake Bell. I was like, huh? What? So
that's funny.
And Peter Collins did recently pass over the summer. So big rip.
I wonder if Drake Bell even knew.
Who knows?
Could have been when he was missing in Daytona Beach.
For what was that? Like
2 days or something?
Yeah.
Like Drake Bell missing in Daytona Beach. Lauren, go find him.
A wild piece of news to receive. This album's got 2 singles, the one we're talking about today, and a song called Mystic Rhythms, which is another banger. The band took a let's make it then worry about the on-stage presentation later kind of mentality, which is different for them because, especially on all that 70s stuff, they wouldn't record it unless they could do it live, which is kind of a special thing about Rush, especially on some of that early stuff, because it is so challenging to play. And with the album Hemispheres, they like famously during the recording sessions, like we're like looking at each other like, damn, are we in over our heads? Like, is this going to be too hard? But like they really valued the stage presentation, and that was something that was consistent throughout their career. The album is taken concept with various forms of power. So obviously if you look at this one, like money, people say money is power. There's a song called The Manhattan Project. Duh. And there's some power involved with that.
I would say.
The song called Marathon, physical power. The list goes on and on. So it's a nice little concept. No song is shorter than 5 minutes and 4 seconds.
That is long.
But they're all between the 5 and 6 minute range, which is a departure from Rush's early stuff because, the first couple of Rush albums, it's like a whole side is one song of the record.
Very long.
Like anywhere between 19 and 25 minutes kind of thing.
Good gracious.
Emma loves it when I put on all those back to back to back.
Long ass songs.
Fun fact, Rush's Caress of Steel, their third album, is always the go-to. This is the first thing I put on whenever Emma goes on a trip somewhere. Like, I got the bachelor pad.
Whenever I go
put on Caress
somewhere,
of Steel.
I'm like, listen to the Dead while I'm gone. Please get it out of your system.
It's never going to get out of my system, but it's nice to crank it a little bit every once in a while. But today's song, it's a really good album opener. I don't know if we mentioned it on album openers when we did that episode, and I'm surprised I didn't even think about it. But it has such a in your face start wham, like we're Rush hoes. We sip on syrup and eat craft dinner and go to Tim Hortons. Yeah. So,
Hey.
It was a single, right? And it's wild to think about that now because the song is 5 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're not getting a single that long these days. And
was there a single edit?
It trimmed down maybe 30 of those seconds.
Wow.
The music video was 450 something. So it went from 5:30 to 4:50 just to get it under 5 minutes, which is crazy. That would never happen
No.
today. You never get a single on the radio. And I would be interested to know the last single that was over like 3.5 minutes. That was like super duper popular.
I know the single version of Mirrors is over 4 minutes long. Because the real version is 8 minutes long.
There you go. I wonder what that negotiation was like. I wouldn't have budged on that. I would have said, "Look, listen, you got to have the full 8 minutes, or you don't
It
get
is
nothing."
really good.
I'm so glad you finally come around.
I finally
to
come
it.
around to the long version.
Your
of
your biggest
Mirrors.
piece of character development. You've come along to the full version
Yeah,
of
it's
Mirrors.
pretty good. You know, you're two types of people: people who love Mirrors by Justin Timberlake, and bastard liars, because it's really good. And I'm calling you out. Tori told me she doesn't like Mirrors, so that means she's lying. It's not
She-
true.
She's not a truther. I ain't calling you a truther. So wild to think about a single being in 5.5 minutes or clocking in at 5.5 minutes. The music video and a lot of Rush's video content throughout their tenure, because they stopped touring in 2015, was produced by Geddy Lee's brother, Alan, and so that this video was no exception. But he did a lot of their like concert film stuff. He was like the director for, you know, kind of like all the camera angles and what all that coordination looks like. So cool to keep it in the fam in that regard. But the music video, again, very goofy. They got the outfits, they got the graphics. They're on a Monopoly board, which is fun. It's like the stage, you know, play on the big money. The three of they're very smart guys, really good musicians, and they're clever in that way. So, you know, those little details, like making the music video stage a Monopoly board is not anything unlike them, because they're very clever in that way. They played this song the first time I saw them in 2013. It was the second song in the set. And I remember it so vividly because I was just like, wow, like so taken aback. This was like the first concert experience. I was just kind of like, you know, jaw to the floor, like you couldn't.
Agape.
Yes, agape. Couldn't take my eyes off it, kind of thing. It was quite the sense of euphoria, and I remember like even my dad and I like not being able, because they did like a 2-set thing after the first set, like not being able to hear for a second because it was just like three guys produced like so much sound. But they played this song the first time I saw them, and of course it followed a Subdivision's opening, you know,
Oh.
Your Faith.
Yep, that's the one I hear in my dreams.
Yes, and the music to this one, rhythmically, it's very interesting. Perhaps one of Rush's most interesting rhythm songs. It's going from the start, like, and there's quite the fluctuation in beat style and addition of electronic drums, and like while the tempo is pretty the same throughout, it does that thing, like it does that Brother Love thing where, you know, the drums kind of make you feel like the tempo is changing, but it's not. And the guitar solo is very similar to that of Red Barchetta. It sounds like Alex is playing from inside a tunnel, which is cool. Very good for driving. And I especially love that like last verse / chorus that leads into the outro, like that big like tension building release into, you know, big money, got no soul, and then it goes into the outro. Because you're right, like while money may possess a lot of power, and we like guide a lot of our lives around money, it doesn't have any soul, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And quite a chilling line to leave you with before you go to the next song on this album. It's like, whoa, you're right. Money doesn't have any soul. I've never thought about it that way. But of course, the song has themes of gambling, being rich, especially like
All things we do. Gamble, be rich.
a focus on the global economy, you know, because at this point it's the 80s, mid 80s. Things are becoming more like global and more like readily accessible kind of thing. So processing all that. And they play it on the XM sometimes. It's one of the few Rush songs they'll play on Classic Rewind. That isn't on
Few?
moving picture.
Okay. It's like,
It's like you'll get this one, you'll get Subdivisions, and then like New World Man, and that's about it. And Christine Stone's gotta be there.
she does like Rush.
Yes, or Rachel Steele. Big Rush fans. Anyway,
The only women that like Rush.
hey, you like the 10 songs that you like, you know.
Like, I don't know if like is the word. I think tolerate is the word. I like Limelight.
Okay, I can take liking one.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like Tom Sawyer?
I tolerate Tom Sawyer, and I think it's fun to sing.
Okay. Now it's time for the segment portion of today's show. I just feel like that would be such a great break right there for like the sponsors, you know, in between like us talking about. So sponsor us, please.
Would you like to do a test run? Why don't, let's say you had a sponsor read for the Breakfast Nook.
And before getting in today's segment portion of the show, we would like to thank our sponsor over at the Breakfast Nook North Haven. The Breakfast Nook. Come as strangers, leave as family.
Oh.
Isn't that their little thing that they got on the outside?
Oh, I do think it's like, come in as strangers, leave as family.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, it's time for the segment portion of today's show. Shout out the Breakfast Nook, though. It's a good place to get breakfast. If you're ever in North Haven, Connecticut, you can find yourself there.
You can sponsor us by giving us a free meal.
Yeah, sounds good. Emma's Everyday Jam, the song you've been bumping along to for the past week. What you got?
All right, well, we talked about Miss Sabrina a lot earlier, and the song I was talking about where she is singing it to Camila Cabello will be my Everyday Jam, and that's Taste by Sabrina Carpenter. It's the first song on the album.
Another opener.
It's
We're
a
talking
good
about
opener.
an opener today.
Jen was like, have you listened to it yet? And I was like, no, like I need to. And so then I was like, I'll listen to it in order. And I put it on and I was like, well, right off the bat, I'm a fan. I like it.
What a way to start, you know?
So that would be my Everyday Jam. It's very good.
I heard you're back together, and if that's true, you'll just have to taste me when he's kissing you. If you want forever, I bet you do.
Next up, our major and minor chords, our respective highs and lows for the week. What say you?
My high of the week is that this weekend we're going back to Memphis. We're going home. Very excited. It's my mom's 50th birthday. So shout out, Mom. We're going to have a fun birthday weekend. We're only there for like 36 hours-ish. But, no, it's more than
It's more than that.
It's 2 days.
Yeah.
But, 48 hours. But it'll be a really good time. And I'm very excited. And we'll have fun. And Gigi already said that we can go get our nails done. So that's really exciting as well. I need to call and make an appointment
Oh,
tomorrow.
man, can I come?
You've gotten your nails done there before.
Ugh.
I made Mike get his nails done for our wedding. Just a manicure, just so he had nice nail beds. And then my low of the week is, I mean, things have been pretty good, so I don't have a lot of lows. Our Keurig is messing up, but it's the breaker that's messing up, not the Keurig, so I mean, that's good. Of course, immediately Mike's like acting like we need to buy a new Keurig, and I was
I'm
like,
an analytical person. I didn't act like we needed to buy one. I just asked if it had a warranty on Costco. That's all I asked.
I was like,
And we have bad luck with Keurig machines, as
we
y'all
won't
know.
be getting a new Keurig. We
At
just
no
got
point did I
this one less
suggest
than
it.
a
I
year
just
ago.
asked if we had a warranty.
The one
Two
before that
different
was
things.
several years old, so that one,
Two different things.
but it's the breaker.
It is a breaker.
So just general still like small things with the house, like for some reason the air conditioning won't go below 72, and at one point when we lived here it would go to 70 at least, and now it just won't, and it keeps like readjusting. Right
now it's on 70.
Yeah, right now it says 70.7. But like, yesterday, or it,
Keep going down, brother.
it just readjusted to 74, and I'm like, that's an absolute no.
Yeah, that didn't feel good.
That's a never.
There was a moment in which I thought it was like going out for a second. And I was like, like because
Yeah.
it kept going up. I think it topped out at like 76, but I was like,
No. I mean, luckily it is cooling down outside.
That-
So if the AC is gonna like act all weird at some point, like we've only got a couple more weeks before it's probably consistently fall like outside.
Yes.
Here in the CT, but yeah, just small things. But nothing overarching, I don't think.
No. I would say mine are just being generally tired. I've not had a routine in the last 3 weeks. It's just kind of been like throw it at the wall and see what sticks. And so the routine can begin very soon here. So there's a piece of optimism there.
Yeah.
A major, our things got returned to us.
Oh yes.
They were hand delivered.
Forgot.
So that was nice.
About me saying that on the pod last week. You need to update for
Good knock on the door to receive.
Yes.
So we have possession of our items. They were misdelivered.
Mm-hmm.
So happy to have them back. Whatever it took, they're back.
Yep.
And we have a nice little wall now of stuff. It's very similar to the old studio, but with some changes and some additions. So yeah, it's good stuff. Now it's time for our honorable mentions, last but not least, the songs that almost made the cut or follow a similar type of vibe or theme. And first up on the list is Hey Mercedes by Post Malone from F1 Trilogy.
I don't know why you came, where you from, what's your name, and I know that you don't know mine. Call me crazy. Hey Mercedes, what you doing for the rest of your life?
But that's the extended long bed
Yeah,
version.
long bed.
It'd be funny if it was like extended cab, where I guess long bed works too. But
I think long bed makes more sense. A long bed.
the
truck.
King Ranch version. I don't know.
Double wide.
Because I was about to say it can't be, the F350 because it's already F1 Trillion.
I think the only thing that might have been better than long bed is double wide. F1 Trillion double wide.
Yeah. I don't know.
But they're both big truck references. What you're saying is all made up.
Some big ass truck.
We can't talk about big ass truck on the podcast. They bullied my father in grade school.
He's still hung up about it. Next up, See You in the Afterlife by Foster the People. Straight up sounds like it's in a back to school ad for Old Navy, but in the best way. Very funky. It's here. Back to school time with Old Navy. Shop men's pants, 2 for $20. Women's shorts, 3 for $40.
Not as much of a steal.
Do back to school with Old Navy.
We got it.
Last on the honorable mention list, it has been almost a year since the passing of dear Jimmy Buffett. Come September 1st, that happens this week. And only fitting that he died around Labor Day weekend, that you listen to Come Monday by Jimmy Buffett and remember the life of a true mogul and patriot. So listen to Come Monday.
Come Monday, it'll be alright. Come Monday, I'll be holding you tight. I spent 4 lonely days in a brown LA haze, and I just want you back by my side.
That's going to do it for us this week, folks. Thank you for the like, comment, subscribe, share, listen, follow, all of that good rating, all that good stuff. And think about your money being big money. And we'll see you next week.